My name is Mackenzie Roth, and this is my student ID. So today I'm going to be talking about Stockholm Syndrome. And Stockholm Syndrome is basically when you're being kidnapped or held hostage and you develop positive feelings for the kidnapping. So basically, whoever's kidnapping you think that they're a good person and that they're not doing anything bad or wrong to you. Some symptoms of it is that you develop negative feelings for people who are trying to help you. So like the police, you think that they're actually the bad people when in reality your kidnapper is. Also, you don't have any desire to be rescued. You don't want any help from anyone outside. You rather just be kidnapped and being held hostage and do whatever the captor wants you to do. 8% of kidnappings result in Stockholm Syndrome. And so first, like how you can get Stockholm Syndrome is, well, you're kidnapped. But second of all is the captor will either tell you things about their past to make you feel sorry for them. So like for example, like if you're abused by your captor, they'll tell you how they were abused in the past and how they were neglected and hurt. So basically you sympathize with them because you're both going through the same thing. Another way that they can do this is by threatening you, either like directly telling you they're going to kill you or hurt you, or like indirectly where like you see them like hurting other people, or you see them like getting angry over stupid things. So basically you don't want to do anything wrong to hurt them to make them mad that they would want to hurt you. And so the first case of Stockholm Syndrome was found in 1973 when there was a bank robbery for 5 days. Jan Olsen robbed a bank and walked in and held 4 people hostage. He strapped them with dynamite in a bank vault, 4 of them, 3 women and 1 was a man. And so basically after the police found out about the robbery, 2 of the police stormed in and Olsen shot 1 of them in the hand and then forced another one to sit in a chair. So after that, Olsen started making demands. He called the Prime Minister of Sweden and told him that he wanted his friend, who was already in jail, to be bailed out of jail and brought to the bank. He wanted 3 million Swedish kroner. He wanted guns, vests, a helmet, and a fast car. And so the police basically said, you can have whatever you want, but you can't take the hostages in the car with you. And so because of that, Olsen decided to keep going on with the bank robbery, and he still exchanged phone calls with the Prime Minister. And so basically when he was exchanging phone calls with the Prime Minister, they put some of the victims on the phone. And this was when they first realized symptoms of Stockholm Syndrome, because they realized that the victims were not mad at their kidnapping, they weren't upset, they didn't want to be freed, and they actually had feelings for the captors who had kidnapped them. One lady said that when she was claustrophobic in the bank vault, Olsen actually let her go. He put a tight rope around her neck and let her walk out of the bank vault like a dog. And she told the Prime Minister that this was so nice and that Olsen was so sweet for doing that and all this stuff. And that was one case where they realized that she was not mad and was not upset. A second case was, I guess in the middle of the night, one of them was cold and Olsen gave her a coat and she thanked him and told him that he was the best and all this stuff. And she even told the Prime Minister that he was a good guy and she wasn't scared of him and she had faith that they would all make it out of this alive. Another one was, so the one guy that was being held hostage, Olsen told him that he was going to shoot him in the face, but before he shot him in the face, Olsen told him that he was allowed to get drunk so it would hurt less. And so the man told the Prime Minister that this was such a good thing, even though that he was going to get shot in the face. Also, they were finally released. The police, they drilled a hole into the bank vault and released a toxic gas, and so finally Olsen and his friend gave up and surrendered after 30 minutes because they didn't want to die. But 3 out of the 4 victims kissed the 2 captors goodbye, which was a way to show that they weren't actually mad at them, which was really weird. So that was the first case of Stockholm Syndrome, and both of them, well, one of them went to jail for 10 years, the other one was put off and didn't have any charges against him. But a more recent case was the Elizabeth Smart case in 2002. She was kidnapped from her home in 2002 by Brian Mitchell, and so she was kidnapped for 9 months, and the day she was found in a park. I guess a biker rode by and saw that it looked like Elizabeth Smart, who was on America's Most Wanted, so he contacted the police, and the police came up and tried to get out of her who she was and all this stuff, and she had such bad Stockholm Syndrome that she did not tell her actual name. She made up a fake name because she didn't want her kidnapper, Brian Mitchell, to get in trouble. She didn't want him to go to jail, and she didn't want him to have any punishment for kidnapping her for 9 months. And so finally, when the police realized that she was actually Elizabeth Smart, they took her in and brought her back to her family. But in court, Elizabeth told 2 different instances where cops had come up to her and she had just denied that she was Elizabeth Smart and everything because she still did not want her kidnappers to go to jail. But they did go to jail for 10 years also. But so that's just some of the cases of Stockholm Syndrome, but it's very serious and it can be found in almost every single case, especially, 8% of the cases have them. But it's also just very sad and scary that some captor can make you brainwashed. Thank you.